Hey YouTube, Untamed here. So I figured I was about due to give you guys a Land Cruiser Heritage Edition update, as I haven't really shown too much love to the Land Cruiser here. So for those of you who don't know, I did end up making a controversial decision about 4 months ago, not quite, in trading in my 2020 Tundra TRD Pro, my Armour Green Toyota Tundra, for this guy here. It's controversial because, well, I mean, you guys know, I love that truck, and it caught everyone off guard because you guys knew how much I love that truck. And then boom, classic fashion for my channel, I suppose. I kind of sprung it on you guys like, oh hey, by the way, I'm getting rid of my Tundra, and here's this new very expensive Toyota SUV that I swapped it out for. So I expected a little bit of backlash from you guys, but I want to be able to kind of walk you through why I still stand by that decision, and why both my wife and I love this Land Cruiser, and then I'll of course still wrap up with what I like most about the Land Cruiser compared to that Tundra, and vice versa, right? Because I mean, there are definitely things that are better about that Tundra when you're comparing it to the Land Cruiser here. So let's kind of run through a few things as they kind of came to my mind. I jotted them down, and I'll of course show it to you as we're doing it. So for starters, what makes the Heritage Edition special? There's a few things. So when it comes to actual performance, it's going to be on par with the normal 200 series, right? So it's going to have the same stuff as the 200 series. There's mainly cosmetic differences, and you guys can see first glance. You got the bronze wheels, forged BBSs that come on it, and you guys know I was quick to put on, I guess in classic form, put on some KO2s tires quickly after getting it, which have been fantastic in my opinion. You get the darkened chrome up front, right? And you get the darked out or blacked out headlight housing, which I think really does a lot for the look of this vehicle. If you put this right next to a standard, quote-unquote standard Land Cruiser 200 series, this one definitely stands out by comparison. You got when I say darkened chrome, normally this is, it's just a brighter chrome, if you will. Not to mention you have, see if you can focus a little better for you, but you got this kind of this gray bronzish finish throughout for the Heritage Edition here. This is a Toyota Safety Sense. The radar for that is integrated within the logo there up front. But so I personally love this front end, and I've really grown to appreciate the look of this, especially when you're behind the wheel. This little indent here. So I think the front end is perhaps my favorite part of the entire vehicle. Let me know if you guys agree with that. So hard pill to swallow is the price tag and justifying the price tag, because regardless if you're a Toyota fan or not, $89,000 is definitely a tough pill to swallow, and it's kind of hard to even justify it next to the other Toyota vehicles that are offered, right? So you can get a 4Runner TRD Pro for 50 grand, give or take a little bit, right? A brand new 4Runner TRD Pro, which has nearly every single perk that this Land Cruiser has. It has that awesome reliability with that 4.0 6-liter, so awesome reliability within that. I think they have a 5-speed automatic transmission that's tried and true. So you get the reliability piece definitely checked. When it comes to exterior styling, I don't know. I mean, it definitely is a matter of taste, but I can see why someone would even like the 4Runner TRD Pro more than this. Like the headlights on a 4Runner do look more aggressive. You get a little bit more of a, I'll show you, you get the trim pieces around the fenders on the 4Runner that makes it kind of look a little bit more aggressive, a little more sporty. So, and not to mention the back end of this. Going into it, this was my least favorite bit of it, because that just screams 2008, 2010, right? So it's just, everything is just huge back here. Like this, I don't know, I feel like every other manufacturer has gotten away from this giant tail light, right? And with the 4Runner, you just kind of get that, little square back here that looks, I think it looks sleek. So I don't know. So back to my point. You can get a brand new 4Runner TRD Pro that offers, very similar peace of mind, and let alone $40,000 cheaper than this tank here. This obviously, it has, a little bit more durability when it comes to, I shouldn't say obviously, right? So I mean, there's videos out there that show a direct side-by-side comparison between a Sequoia, like a Sequoia TRD Pro, if I recall, it might have been a Tundra. Regardless, it shows the undercarriage, all the components underneath this, compared to that Sequoia TRD Pro or the Tundra. And it's fascinating to see it just because it is a cruel reminder where the money goes to. So you're paying for everything that's underneath this vehicle, right? So you get that same 5.7 liter V8 power plant that you get in the Tundra, which has been tried and true and tested to 1 million miles. We always hear that story over and over again, but it does. I mean, you get 300, 400, 500,000 miles with semi peace of mind, right? Which is really cool. This is attached to that 8-speed transmission, so that makes for a lot smoother driving. Just kind of getting up on the freeway, driving around town, a lot more seamless, if you will, compared to the Tundra. The Tundra has that 6-speed automatic transmission, which is, again, pretty dated at this point. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to say the Land Cruiser is like super new and up to date on everything, because it's not. It's super dated as well, but even more so in that Tundra with that 6-speed automatic. So I understand why people would not want to pull the trigger on a Land Cruiser, just because of that price tag and what you could get for the same amount of money elsewhere with different manufacturers. So it is kind of hard to pull the trigger on it. So you got 1,200 of these produced each year between 2020 and 2021 here. There will be 1,200. So I like the fact that it is exclusive. I think that's pretty cool. As you guys know, all my vehicles have been, TRD Pros, GT350R, the R being the even more exclusive version of it that I had. I like that. I really like having a numbered vehicle, in a sense, right? I think that's pretty cool. Not to mention it weighs into its residual value down the road, as it should. So I like that. But if you keep that in mind with the number of these that are actually sold each year, it does begin to lose its steam pretty quick, because we're talking, and these numbers are a little dated now, but back when I remember looking, these sell in the States between 3,000 and 4,000 a year. In the States, okay? And that's an important bit to mark, because since their inception back in, I think, 1958, since coming to the United States, they've sold over 10 million. So I mean, worldwide though, right? So I mean, since their inception, over 10 million Toyota has sold, which is pretty crazy. But then now you think about it, only 3,000 to 4,000 of these 200 series are getting sold each year in the States, and they've been consistently going down, which is pretty crazy. So when you compare that 1,200 exclusive factor next to the 3,000, 4,000 total number, it does kind of lose steam, but I still love it. This is one vehicle that I do think is going to stick around for a while, because I don't have a true gripe about it. So both my wife and I absolutely love it. It's super comfortable to drive. The seats are super plush. It carries the whole family just fine. Put the doggies in the back. They love it. We have that peace of mind, have the power when we need it with that V8, 381 horsepower, I believe, and then 401 foot-pounds of torque, same like the Tundra. So we have that peace of mind, which has been awesome. Not to mention, I'll pop in the back for you. Can I show you this? So I'll show you the awesome storage in the back hatch here, after I show you the long and excruciating opening of the back hatch. Okay, and this is what we're working with, which is awesome. So I mean, really, until just recently I had this out, but we just popped it back in because we had some groceries and stuff back here. We just pulled it over. But this contraption here I find pretty interesting, because it's not really a latch lever per se. It's more of an electronic trigger to release the latches on the sides, which is pretty cool. So check it out. Just pop it and then it'll open. Oh gosh, I maybe should have cleaned. Sorry, it looks pretty bad, but as you can see, we get good use out of it. You got some baby wipes tucked in the corner. You got a dog leash, dog toy. I hope that's a dog toy. in an abundance of fur to boot. So we're getting our fair share of use out of it. And I don't know, I do like being able to throw the dogs back here, the whole family in here. And it just, I don't know, it's a great experience for the whole family. We can all enjoy it and be comfortable. Again, attach that smooth power plant and transmission, it really does make for a really positive experience. I'll show you this here. You guys have seen that. And an equally slow closing. One thing I do wish, since we're back here, I do think it would be cool if this was similar to the 4Runner, as well as the Tundra, and actually would come up and down. I think that would be neat, but I guess we'll leave those party tricks with the 4Runner and Tundra for now. What else? So, what has been another small gripe, and that is, I don't even like calling it a gripe, but I mean, we don't love it about it, and that is the fuel economy. I don't like calling it a gripe because we all know it, and we all knew it buying it. I mean, I had the Tundra with the same engine before. I knew what to expect. I knew it was going to be bad, but it really does live up to it. It lives up to the whole 13, 14 miles per gallon, which is garbage. Which is why, though, I mean, Toyota is changing its power plant. It's going to, you know, the turbo setup 6-cylinder, right? So the twin turbo 6-cylinder for that better fuel economy to meet emission standards, right? So they're doing that starting 2022, right? So this manufacturing year 2021 is the last iteration of the V8 here, as I'm sure everyone on my channel is aware of and has heard before. So I don't know. That's that I feel good about it. I love knowing that I do have the last of this V8 wave, if you will. But I do kind of wonder what that next one's going to look like, right? That next iteration of like the Tundra is going to look like, as well as what the power outputs are going to be. I'm sure it's going to be monumental compared to, you know, the 381 horses in this V8. But I don't know. We'll wait and see. So I am eager to see it. Really, I mean, every time I get in this, it does bring a smile to my face. So I'll show you this too. This is pretty cool, guys. I love that every single door has this guy right here, which will lock it. That guy comes in. I have it set up like that, of course. But then, of course, to unlock, you just put your hand in here and it unlocks. So I love the fact that every single door has that. I think that's pretty cool. Whereas you guys are familiar, I'm sure, that it's typically only for the driver door, or sometimes, of course, the driver and passenger doors have it, but never the back doors. So I think that is cool. Every time I drive it, I do find myself looking back at it and smiling, and of course, low-key parking in the back of the parking lot to A, avoid door dings, and B, get to embrace it in all of its glory as I walk up to it like a true car nerd. But that is the ultimate test to see if you bought the right vehicle, if you look back at it while you're walking away. So every time I get in here, I do feel great. I know I've meowed about it already, but I'm gonna continue to meow about it. The seats are absolutely next level. The feel of this leather is not comparable to the Tundra, the 4Runner, or the other vehicles. Whereas the 4Runner, the Tundra, they have that kind of that faux leather, that faux, what's the word I'm looking for, like pleather, if you will, plastic leather. This is the real deal. So you got heated, cool seats, of course. Full adjustability down here, as you see, which is perfect. But just sitting here, it is so comfortable. And again, this is a reminder that I'm like slowly becoming like my dad, just getting older. But I've really grown to appreciate that. And another cool thing, before I hop in and start it up for you guys and show you, and I always think, let me hit this. Here's what this looks like over here, by the way. Love that this is metal. Love that this is like an aluminum trim, real metal. Love that. The thing that makes, forgive the mess, hashtag dad life, okay? So, you know, we always kind of compare. I don't like the fact that it's so snug back here. I have forever been spoiled by that Tundra of how much room a backseat could potentially have. That Tundra was by far the best I've ever experienced as far as back room space and just being super convenient, beyond convenient for that dad life, right? So that forever will go to the Tundra as far as being superior. But I always often find myself kind of having that pseudo discussion with people saying like, well, I mean, the 4Runner is about the same size in the back. And I think I agree with you guys. I think I agree that the 4Runner is about maybe a little bit smaller, barely smaller than this, right? But the thing that really sets this apart, and like nobody really talks about it, is just the headroom, okay? So when you're getting into it, like this space right here is the most noticeable difference between them. And I feel like nobody really brings that up, or hardly ever brings that up. So I'm making it a point to do it now. So putting the kids in here is a lot easier than it was within the 4Runner, just because, you know, this space right here is just better. And I won't belabor the point, but the headspace overall is something worth mentioning compared to the 4Runner there. So let's hop in real quick. You guys have seen this, it lights up. Pretty cool. I love these SLE rock sliders. All right, so I'll fire it up here. Notice that we have a setup where the wheel will come down and then come toward me, because right now it gives me a lot of space to come in here. I'm not going to hit this and drag my leg up against it. If I have something in my pocket, I'm not going to drag it up against the leather here and mess it up potentially. So I like this, that you can get in comfortably without it dragging. So when you start it up though, see it comes down. Now it's telescoping toward me a little bit. So of course we set it up like that, and it's been great. So 4 months later, and already 8,100 miles. And they have been, I don't know, in my opinion, they've been perfect, super comfortable, and truly no regrets. I do think, let me turn off the AC here. I do think, even now, the Untamed side of me is curious to see how much a dealership would give me for this. I'm sure at this point, even the trade value is even more than what I paid for it. You guys know I got 10 grand below MSRP, and out here in particular, everything like this, Tundra TRD Pros, Tacoma TRD Pros, 4Runner Pros, they all run a premium. They all run that greedy dealership ADM, adjusted dealer adjusted dealer markup, which is typically $5,000 or $10,000 depending where you're at exactly, which is super upsetting to see that. But so yeah, the Untamed part of me knows I could probably trade this in and get even a little bit more than what I even paid for it. But honestly, I don't have the desire to do that. Even when I took it in to get its oil change the other day. It's the same day I did the that Voodoo Blue Tacoma and Tundra video for you guys in the super smoky land. I had this at the dealership getting an oil change, right? And even when I dropped it off there, the sales manager came up and said, hey, let me know when you're ready to swap this out. I'll give you more coin than anybody else, kind of a thing. So I'll give you a better deal than anybody else on it, trade in, blah, blah, blah. So I'd love to have that on my lot. So I got that spiel. I'm sure they all say that, but I mean, even he was quick to pop over and say that. But you guys got my word for now, at least. I'm not going to give you any kind of end date, as I know you guys like to hold me to that stuff. But both my wife and I, we love this. So I'll give you kind of a quick walk through it. We'll hit climate over here. The adjustability is easy. It's simple, super easy to use, but I've experienced easier. So again, I've been a little bit spoiled. Even the Tundra, the 4Runner and FJ in particular is, I don't know, it's almost unfair to compare to that because they're two very different things, right? This is supposed to be the luxury, premium feel SUV that they have, top of the line, whereas the FJ is like the bare bones, you know, roll it down a hill sideways and backwards and still drive it home kind of thing. So they're very different, I get it. But I do kind of miss like just having a temperature gauge knob. You can flip back and forth, huge one, then a huge like fan speed knob. I like that. Whereas you got to get in kind of the system over here. But this at large is not as good as that Tundra. The Tundra was definitely better. It had Apple CarPlay, had Android Auto, and a couple other goodies, and just it was easier to use. So this feels like a data platform. Watch when I put it in reverse. Even this, like that, is maybe, again, I just kind of been spoiled a little bit like that could be better, right? It's just a little, the resolution is meh. But again, I'm really not that bougie type, and it does the job just fine. Not to mention, I feel like a lot of this will last the test of time a little bit better. So we'll turn it off. We'll pop out. Of course, there's the sunroof up here, as you guys know. I am admittedly the type of person that never really uses the sunroof, so I don't really warrant having it. And, you know, just kind of a glimpse at before I get out of the interior here, but here are some of the controls. So center diff lock, the terrain selection there, of course, 4 low, 4 high up there, heated seats, cool seats are up there, heated steering wheel. And I feel like a dummy. In here isn't actually a phone charger. You just put your phone in there and it charges. So I felt like a dummy for not knowing that right from the beginning. But yeah, so pretty straightforward down here, guys. And then a pretty chintzy, plasticky cup holders there. I'll tell you what, I never thought the day would come where I open up my center glove box or my center console and have 20 masks pop out of it. Interesting times. So, alrighty. Well, this is already becoming a little bit of a long video, but bottom line, guys, both my wife and I absolutely love this rig. It has been great. It's been great hauling the whole family around, the pups around. It's been perfect. And like I said, every time I get in it, it brings a smile to my face. And the bummer is, though, I shouldn't say a bummer, but I loved it and I wanted to make it my daily driver, and my wife loved it. She wanted to make it her daily driver, so we compromised and we gave it to my wife and it became her daily driver. So now I'm floating around in the Tacoma for the time being, which I love it. But yeah, really this has predominantly become my wife's rig, but the goodness is she's been around me long enough where she really appreciates it and loves it. So I will wrap up the video there, guys. I think I've already made this a bit too long for you. But again, as always, I do appreciate you watching. Until next time.